Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to Lineup Predictions here on the Magpie Channel TV. Manchester City away tomorrow at the Etihad. Oh, did we not need this? Plenty more injuries added to what we've already got in the squad at the minute. As if the game couldn't really be much harder. Man City sitting comfortable in second. I think they're rooted in second. I don't think they're going to get any lower. Obviously, they beat us just last week and a half ago in the FA Cup quarter-final in a stinking game, which I hope we've learnt a massive lesson and just go for it. Yeah, kind of half wanting to say that this game we should just write off. It doesn't really mean anything. Like, we're not going to get relegated and we're very unlikely to get Europe. Man City aren't really playing for anything apart from trying to get as many points as they can by the end of the season. And we've got some games coming up where we can get points. I think the remaining games in this season, we can get points. At the weekend, we've got Watford, who's still struggling at the bottom against relegation, and Brighton the week after that. Got Tottenham coming up midweek next week, who's been playing horrendously at the minute. I'd really fancy my chances against Tottenham. Already beat them this season, and they're coming up to St James's Park, home field advantage. I really feel like we can get at least a point in that game. I feel like a point would be decent. And the last game of the season against Liverpool, where they'll already have held the title in the previous game at Anfield. They'll probably still be in party mode, probably play a few young'uns. They're not really arsed, they're not playing for anything. So I feel like there's every chance that we could get a point in that game, again, at home. So this game, I don't really feel like we're going to get anything. A point would be fantastic. I'd be over the moon for a point, but I can't really see it happening. If it was at St James's, maybe we've beat them and drawn to them in the last two league games at St James's, but away, it's a different story. We struggle against them away. The Etihad is a bit of a fortress for them. They rarely lose there. But they are beatable. Obviously, they just lost a few days ago against Southampton, 1-0. Of course, that was away as well. But that was a very defensive performance. They just threw everybody behind the ball. They went 1-0 up and City just attacked for particularly the last half hour. How they didn't get a goal, I will never know. But like, maybe that's something we have to do. But I think we'll learn a lesson from the mistake we made in the FA Cup. The formation, the lineup, everything was wrong. Went back to 5 at the back, which I think on paper it wasn't the wrong choice, but it just didn't work out. I don't know if they just didn't practice enough, or maybe just the lineup, just players weren't feeling it. I don't know what the problem was, but the first half was horrendous. Changed it up in the second half, went to 4 at the back. Shaw came out the back line and played as a DM. Sean Longstaff went a little bit further upfield as well. And the second half was much better. So I feel like just go for it. Like, we've got nothing to lose. I feel like we might as well just go for it. But at the same time, we've got a lot of injuries, which I'll go through now. Isaac Hayden and Sean Longstaff have hamstring injuries. With only 2.5 weeks left of the season, I feel like we'd be very unlucky to see either one of them again. Hamstring injuries can be pretty serious, so that could be the end of their season. Saint-Maximin and Almiron are major doubts. They're struggling a bit. Andy Carroll has a groin strain and Jamal Lascelles has a sore ankle. So do we not need that? We're going to need mega rotation, which we should have done already in the previous 2 games. I'm probably going to pretty much predict the same as I did the last 2 games. I think this is another tough lesson for Brucey, which is kind of why I'm saying write this game off, because we're going to rotate so much. A lot of our key players aren't going to make it. So they would just rotate everybody, probably suffer a defeat, and then go in fresh against Brighton and try and smash them. But Brucey did actually talk about this. I think people are expecting it. I think people are on my same wavelength. So Brucey has addressed it in his press conference. He says, "I think there's a certain resilience in the squad to being written off, and they enjoy the challenge of proving people wrong. That's pretty apparent when you work with the players. It's important we don't take our foot off the gas and we try and achieve a top 10 finish," which is great to hear. I think this is why Brucey's really getting himself popularised among fans. Obviously, he wasn't the right choice at the start of the season, but with some of the results and where we are in the league at the minute, and his character, some of his press conferences, fans are really starting to get behind Brucey now, and it's things like that that I really give him credit for. So if we can go out and play the best, fittest lineup possible. I think that's the key part, the fittest lineup, not necessarily the best, but whoever's fit, get them in, try and cause an upset, get a point away at the Etihad. I feel like that's more than acceptable. I'll be very, very happy with that. And he also goes on to say, the beauty of the Premier League is the underdogs can put up a fight and put out a performance. We didn't do enough against Man City in the Cup, admittedly. We have to be a bit more aggressive in our approach tomorrow, so let's hope we can do it. Again, great. Love to hear that. So we'll see what we can do with this. Yeah, I still don't think we can get anything, but we need to rotate as much as possible, fittest team, and hope we can upset them. Just go for them. I think Man City will probably expect teams to sit back. So if people actually go for the neck, they might be like a rabbit in headlights. They might think, oh shit, what the fuck? Because like teams against Southampton, they went a goal down and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, everything's hit the fan. I don't really rate Man City's defence. They've got some decent defenders in there, Laporte, but I don't know, just something's not clicking for me. I'm not really a huge fan of Man City's defence. I think they've got a lot to work on over the summer if they want to win their title back. Like defensively, they're just not good enough for me at the minute. Straight after the filming of this, I'm going to be doing a preview with Andy from Man City FanTV, so go and check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below once that's up. Go and check that out. And I'll get into the team, my predicted team. I've touched on the lineup. There's two potential lineups I could think of. Obviously, one would be changing it from our usual 4-2-3-1, which has been working great lately. Since we reverted to that formation back in February against Burnley, the only game we've beat in all competitions, including behind closed doors friendlies during lockdown, is Man City in the Cup, where we changed the formation. We went back to 5 at the back, which wasn't working. And I think we're established within the first 10 minutes. The formation does not work. So I don't want to see 5 at the back. I don't want to see 5 at the back again for the rest of the season. I think I touched on that in my last preview. So no 5 at the back for me. Just go for them. So I'd probably stick with a 4-2-3-1. I'll show you what I've got there, and then I'll show you at the end one that we could possibly change to, but I can guarantee it's not fucking 5 at the back. So, Martin Dubravka in goal, of course, and the back 4 of what I predicted on Sunday, which didn't change. Kraft, Shaw, Lascelles and Rose. That's who I want to see. That's what I also said up for the game on Sunday, but we didn't see. We started Fernandes again, and we started Manquillo again. 2 players that really needed a break. Lascelles also needed a break, but I put him in. I know he's a doubt again for tomorrow, but I think you'll see it through. I think both of them need a break. It's just a shame that we've got other players out. Who else? We've got Dummett ineligible. Clark and Lejeune are both still out. So we're really, really lacking at centre-back. Shaw's the only one that can really come in. So either Fernandes or Lascelles is going to have to be a man and take it on the chin, try and get through as much of the game as possible. And for me, that'll probably be Lascelles. He's the captain, the leader. So I think he really needs to be the man to stand up and say, I'm not missing out. I've got a knock on my ankle, but bollocks. Take some steroids or some of them injections or whatever the players take these days to painkillers to get through the game. For at least most of it. If you can last 60, 70 minutes, then bring Fernandes on afterwards. But I feel like Shaw will be the fittest of them 3, the 3 that's available. So Shaw has to start. In terms of his partner, it's a flip of a coin, really. But I think the captain needs to stand up and get through this game. Also, Fernandes, I would like to see rested because he's been class for the next couple of games. Watford coming up. We need Fernandes back. The partnership him and Lascelles have struck up lately has been amazing. And Danny Rose as well has been fantastic. Just before, he's been, I don't know if he's been dropped or rested, but he's been an unused substitute in the last 2 games. And just before then, we were finally starting to see his best performances. I think he was a little bit of a doubt between some fans, but he was finally starting to get into some great form. But he got rested. Manquillo shifted over to the left. Kraft on the right. And Manquillo's been another one that's been needed rested. I've been surprised to see him start each of the last 2 games at left back. And Danny Rose hasn't been used at all. So Manquillo is definitely in need of a rest. And Kraft came in the last 2 games and been great. I think each of his last 2 games has been getting better and better in that right back role. So I'll stick with him, put Shaw alongside Lascelles and Danny Rose in for Manquillo. In centre mid, I'll be playing Bentaleb, obviously with Sean Longstaff and Isaac Hayden both being out. We're pretty shallow there now, just like we are at centre back. We've only really got Bentaleb, who he hasn't had a lot of game time since coming back, but he's done all right since he has. The last game, West Ham, I thought he was great, so he's deserving of a start alongside Shelvey, who was man of the match the other day. Shelvey's been fantastic since coming back from the lockdown. And Brucey was full of praise for him in the press conference this morning. He says, if there's anybody who has taken on board what we will require, it's Jonjo. He's blessed with natural ability. He can see a pass that others can't and deliver it, and he can score a goal. Physically and mentally, now he's bought into everything. So fair play to him. So yeah, I think Shelvey's going to be a main man tomorrow. As I say, he was man of the match the other day. And he was missing in the game against City in the Cup. I don't think he was fit. He was named on the bench, didn't come on. Matty Longstaff came on towards the end. And yeah, I just don't think he was fit. Otherwise, he should have came on. I think he could have helped open up Man City's defence in that game. I think he would have been a great substitution to bring on. But obviously not fit. So this is a game where we're going to really, really need him to step up. His performances have been consistent. I think even before lockdown, I think he was probably man of the match in the game against Southampton, the last game before lockdown. And since then, his form's been consistent. I think this is the most consistent he's been, probably since the 2017-18 season. Fans were dying for Jonjo and Lascelles to go to the 2018 World Cup. Obviously didn't. And since then, his performances have came few and far between. He's been very, very frustrating. I think on his day, he can look like one of the best centre mids in the Premier League, but unfortunately, them games come very few and far between. It's like he just turns up every once in like 3 months or something. Like he just goes missing. He gets dropped from the team. He's playing terribly, and then every now and then he'll come back, and it's like, where's this been? So, but now he's actually finally on a roll. He's finally got a bit of consistency to him, and if Lascelles and Hayden miss out, I think Shelvey's probably the next in line for captaincy. So if Lascelles doesn't make it, Shelvey might have that band around his arm come tomorrow night. So we'll see how that happens. And just in front of him in the number 10 role with Almiron being out, I would put Matty Longstaff. I've said in previous games that Longstaff probably shouldn't be involved anymore until that contract gets sorted. Brucey did mention that he's had words with him. He's had that discussion. They've had a meeting. They've tried to get him to sign it. They've tried to convince him to stay, but it still hasn't yet been signed. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think while he's got something on his mind, I've been saying keep him out. But with the injuries, we haven't really got a lot left. I think I said last week, if Almiron's not playing, I think the best number 10s probably are the Longstaff brothers, used mainly as centre mids. But I think Sean's best performances this season have come as number 10. I think he's had a shocking season at centre mid, to be honest. But when he plays higher up, like he did against Bournemouth, he's fantastic. I think we've first seen Matty Longstaff this season before the Man United game in the League Cup against Leicester. He played in that role for most of it. I'm not sure if he started there, but I know towards the end he was moved further upfield. I think he was just in behind Muto. And he had a great game. So I think Matty Longstaff's probably the best number 10 we can have, unless we change the formation, which I'll get to at the end. On the right, we'll finally be seeing a start from Valentino Lazaro, one would have thought, unless he can't get in again. I don't know what Brucey's crack's been, but Lazaro hasn't been able to get a start. From what we've seen of him, particularly the Bournemouth game, he's impressed, particularly from a forward position as well. I know he's used either as a wing-back or a full-back, but that's not his best role. His role's definitely better higher up the field, as we're seeing against Bournemouth. Scored a great goal, a striker's goal. I think particularly with saint-maximin being out, he's got to step into him. But I think with Almiron being out as well, we're really going to lack pace. So I think Lazaro's got a great opportunity to step up here and show exactly what he can do if he wants to make this deal permanent. Show the pace he's got, his quality on the ball, massive opportunity for him. And I don't really see much other option, to be honest. So Lazaro's got to start for me. Probably with Joey on the left. He is another one who could potentially get rested here. I reckon maybe Matt Ritchie could come in there, but I reckon Brucey will probably stick with Joe Linton. He's been in decent form in that on that left-hand side where he should be. He's more natural role instead of being up front. So maybe continue Joe Linton in that role. And up top, Dwight Gale. I would have liked to have seen Andy Carroll in this game, to be honest. I thought he had a brilliant game in the FA Cup. He caused Laporte a nightmare. Laporte was like a 50-odd million signing, like 58 million or something. And Andy Carroll just bullied him in that game. I don't think you're going to get that from Dwight Gale, but with Carroll being a doubt and Gale starting the last couple of games, I think stick with Gale as long as he's fit. Try and get him behind the strikers. He's going to need some assistance. I think the guys out wide, like Lazaro, like Kraft and Rose, are really going to have to help him. Joe Linton can come in behind him and help him out, but he's going to have to get in some good positions and take any chance that comes to him, not cannon one over the bar from 3 yards out. Like them kind of deliveries are what he needs to feed on, and like how Kraft delivered to Almiron at the weekend. I think that's what Dwight Gale needs. He needs to get in behind the last defender, get in between him and the goalkeeper, and just finish one off. Don't blaze it over the bar. In terms of other strikers, I don't really think we've got much more to offer, so Gale's going to have to start for me, really. In terms of the bench then, Darlow, of course. The lads that have been rested, Manquillo and Fernandez, to come on the bench alongside DeAndre Yedlin. Matt Ritchie, as I mentioned, as a wing option, could also help cover for fullback if Manquillo's feeling tired. And in terms of a centre mid option, we haven't really got one. If Matty Longstaff's going to start, then that's all we've really got. Jack Young, 19-year-old, just signed his first professional contract, had a great season with the under-23s this year. Centre mid, local lad from Morpeth. It's an opportunity for him. He was just brought in to fill in a squad spot before lockdown when the Premier League allowed a few more youngsters to be eligible for the first team. And there's also Kel Watts and Tom Allen available if Lascelles can't make it and Fernandez has to start. Kel Watts is an option at centre-back and Tom Allen up top. And the final 3 spots, I would put the doubties, saint-maximin, Almiron and Carroll. I think they'll probably at least make the bench. At least one of them will anyway. I hope they do. I hope they're not that bad. Hopefully we don't really need to use them. I think if Carroll's fit enough, I'd like to say Carroll brought on. But in terms of Almiron and saint-maximin, I think they should make the bench. As I mentioned, John Joe Shelvey got on the bench against Man City in the Cup when I don't think he was fit. I just don't think Brucey really has faith in anybody else, really. I think he would rather see a first teamer take up a spot and not need him. Well, if we do need them, if they can play, great impact. If we need to, if the game's tight in the last 10, 15 minutes maybe, if the game's close and we need an impact, them 3, saint-maximin, Almiron and Carroll, can come on and do a great job if need be. If not, then Tom Allen can come in. There's also Christian Atsu and Yoshinori Muto. Since the restart, Newcastle's had 21 first-team players have game time, and neither one of these have been used. I think they're the only 2 in the first team who's been fit and eligible to not get game time. Atsu hasn't even been in a matchday squad, hasn't even taken up a spot on the bench. I think Muto's been an unused sub 3 times, but he's been frozen out of the last 2 games. Atsu completely frozen out. I don't think there's a future in those 2. I think Brucey will be looking to ship them off at the end of the season. So I would rather see a Tom Allen and a Jack Young come in, or a Kel Watts if we need an extra body at the back. I'd rather see the young potential lads of the future to come in instead of playing potential deadwood, potentially players who are going to be shipped off in a month or 2, like the end of this. I think the transfer window is open as soon as the season ends, which is in 2.5 weeks' time. Are these lads going to be here next month, 2 months' time? I doubt it. I don't think Brucey's got any plans for them, so might as well get Allen and Young in for me. And in terms of a backup formation, I'll throw this one at you. A 4-4-1-1, where Matty Longstaff drops to the bench. Ritchie comes in at left mid and Joe Linton slides in behind Gale. I think that's a decent formation, but will it work as effectively as what the 4-2-3-1 has? I'm not sure. I think that may be better if Brucey still is a bit unconfident about Matty Longstaff. I think that's the best part of this formation, that Longstaff would drop to the bench, Richie's promoted to the starting lineup, and maybe a bit more option out wide. I think Richie could offer more in delivery terms than what Joelinton could. I think Joelinton might be a bit more effective in behind Gale. Maybe. I don't know. That's one option that we could have. So let me know what you guys think. What's your preferred formation? 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-1-1 or a good old 4-4-2? Anybody in there who you think might need a bit more rotation? Anyone who you'd rather see that I haven't put in or give a rest to that might not need a rest? Let me know what you guys think. Like the video and subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV. Thanks for watching, everyone, and enjoy yourself.